everyone, and welcome to another Random Chat with Dade Jude. I'm Dade.
And I'm Jude.
And today we are talking about something that we both love, something that is part of our family, and something that many, many people have. What is it, Jude?
Today, Dade, we are talking about pets.
Pets. Things that,
Yes.
the extended family, if you were. The ones that bring us joy, but also sometimes bring us shits.
Amongst other things.
Amongst other things.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've always had pets in my life. Jude, have you?
I have always had pets, but not the average family kind. I basically got given a pair of rabbits on my 9th birthday, and my mum and dad thought they were two rabbits of the same sex. They were in fact not, and I therefore had rabbits until I was 15.
I think something like that happened with us because we had rabbits, Snowy and Brownie, and then we had lots of rabbits, so obviously something went wrong.
It's true what they say.
Yeah, and I think we had a guinea pig as well at some point. I think we had a guinea pig. Mum started us off like early on safely with a fish.
Yes.
Yeah, like
or gerbils or hamsters.
Yes, I used to have hamsters, and when they used to disappear, hours of searching.
Yes.
Hours. But
they are so small.
So small, but so cute.
Very cute.
Would you have a hamster now?
Would I have a hamster now? Well, the boys have always wanted a hamster.
Okay.
But with our previous dog, Brixton, who sadly passed away the Christmas before last, he would just have gone mad over it. So the smell would have just driven him up the wall. So I actually said, being a dog mum, I don't think we can have those kind of small rodent type things, as cute as they are, in their little wheels at night, because the dogs would just be going crazy for it.
And your sanity, no doubt.
And my sanity. And there's enough living objects in this house for me to have a field day with. I don't think I care or wish for any more. We did try a fish, but Midnight lasted 4 weeks.
I love the name to begin with, Midnight.
Yeah.
A blackfish, I'm going to assume.
Absolutely, yes. One of the triangular looking ones. Don't know what it. Do you know the ones I mean?
I do. I actually used to have koi carp.
They're worth quite a bit of money. They are
not the big ones. Like those supposed to be small imitation. I built when I was living at Mum's, because we did when we were younger. We obviously did hamsters, fish, rabbits. We had a dog at some point when we were older, but the dog was a bit too maybe aggressive and very protective of the family, but maybe not too great with that. So that's a very like Ebony, the name of the dog was.
Oh, I like that.
But then I built a pond in Mum's garden and I put fish in it, and some of them look like fancy fish.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. It's a shame you couldn't get them to be, grow them to get them quite big, because they really do go for quite a bit of money, those things.
I know, at the time it was like, no. And then eventually I think they all just passed away. So they went to the big fish pond in the sky. Yes. And then at Mum's, the final pet I had was a cat. Yeah.
And what was your cat called?
Tibby. Very, very, very original. Tibby the Tabby.
Tibby the Tabby. Love that.
Yes. Which my mum was like, what do you mean you're going traveling? What about your cat? I'm like, it's a gift for you.
Oh, so I have a question for you then. You've had a dog and you've had a cat. Do you have pets now? Yes,
I have 2 cats, Buzz and Riley.
So are you a cat? Are you a cat mum? As in, I think you fall in 2 brackets. I think you're either a cat person or a dog person.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
You don't?
No, I believe is that I would love a dog, right? Like, how much I go hiking, how much to go out. That dog would be the most fittest dog ever, the amount I go hiking.
It'd be the Spartan dog.
It would be the Spartan dog. We'll come on to names shortly. But yeah, no, it's like, because I've got 2 cats and they're 13 years old now, and I bought them from Australia to here, so they're international cats. I just think it'd be a bit cruel to suddenly introduce this boundless puppy around. And because I live in an apartment, when I get a dog, I want them to have like outdoor space so they can run around still. So I actually fall in both. I love all
That's
animals.
interesting. I don't think I knew that about you. I didn't know that because I know you love your cats, but I didn't know that you were also a lover of dogs. And if you could have one, you would have one.
Yeah, something like a golden retriever or something like that. Yeah,
Gorgeous,
yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah.
Love that.
Not yet, not yet.
Not yet though. In time.
Because you've always had dogs then.
I've always had dogs as an adult, not as a child. Rabbits and fish was about, and hamsters was about as far as it went.
As far as the responsibility kind of was pushed.
Well, I think that's exactly why my parents had more sense than me, actually, because they knew where that responsibility would end up laying, no matter how much I pleaded with them to get a dog.
Yeah.
So I had to wait for that moment until I was in my adulthood. So I have been a dog mum since 2013.
Yeah.
And like I said before, sadly, we lost Brixton, who was a mix of a King Charles Cab and a Beagle. So he had the hound nose, always getting himself into trouble. In fact, funny story, this dog could smell anything food related a mile away, literally. One day I was walking him around my neighborhood and the dog found a packet of unopened sausages, 6 sausages. And before I'd had time to turn around and find out what he was doing, he had inhaled all 6 sausages. So wherever there was food, he would find it.
In the wrapper.
It just clawed open the wrapper, got hold of the sausages, done. One Christmas, I think I was making meatballs. I came out of the kitchen to do something because my children were little, came back into the kitchen and I was like, all right, funny, who's moved the meatballs? And then I just see Brixton in the corner just licking his lips. And I looked at him and I went, no way.
Sneaky.
So he was a naughty one, he was, but
and I do think dogs are that little bit more sneaky around food. Like my boys are just like they're regimented in like they can try it on, but they don't get away with much stuff with me.
No, well, cats are more like, I think with cats, the thing for me is that I'm always concerned about what presents they're going to bring home.
Yes. So when my boys were outdoor cats in Australia, I used to wake up to some very large, sometimes still moving rats.
No.
In my kitchen diner, under the table, or outside my bedroom door.
Oh, here's a gift. Here's a gift for you.
But the thing is, Jude, they used to go in and out of the bathroom side window, right? So there was no cat flap. But literally, it was them jumping up through an open window kind of thing with blind, like shutters on, with this big rat and bringing it in the house.
Oh, and where have they been on that adventure? And what else have they been nibbling on?
Right. So I was just like, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it.
Oh, now you've got to get rid of it. They're not even going to get rid of it.
Oh, no, that's the thing. I know I did have to get rid of it. So that was one of the things. So, yeah.
Have you ever been greeted with any, like, being in Australia, did you ever get, like, any big spiders or frogs or anything, like, poisonous brought to you?
No, not, especially not as pets. But the spiders, if they came into the house, the boys used to chase around anyway.
So they were actually pretty helpful with that.
Absolutely. Then. Like it was like when a big spider's like, and the cat was just like, ooh.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Oh gosh, those big old spiders. Oh, that's nice. Well, I'm glad they bring you gifts.
Yes, they do bring me gifts. They bring me lots of love and joy. They are my registered emotional support animals here in America. Because they are like when they ask me, they're like, "Are they emotional support animals?" I'm like, "I bought them from Australia. They are my extended family." Like it's
absolutely, absolutely. And the thing where we live in California, I never really realised until I lived here just what a state, as well as I'm sure others, but I obviously don't live there. But I know in California what big animal lovers, especially dog lovers, everybody is.
So many dogs. So many dogs.
So many dogs.
Like everyone's got a dog. I also just think, which is kind of weird, when COVID happened, I know that a lot of the dog shelters got a lot of dogs got adopted around that time. So I do think a lot of people was like that. I do also know that some people gave the dogs back after COVID was over, which was a bit sad.
Right, yeah, because it's a hard thing to look after any animal, but especially like something that needs a lot of love and attention, lots of walks, lots of exercise.
Can't speak English, can't speak back to you.
Like, no, they can some way with their eyes or their heads. And my youngest puppy that we got a year ago, Bay, she's a Australia, so she's an Australian Shepherd mixed with a King Charles Cow. And she's just so unbelievably affectionate. If she wants a hug, she will jump up on your lap and give you a hug. 2 arms over the shoulder. And she also likes to do the affectionate must eat your nose every morning. And even if you've walked out the room and you've been gone 2 minutes, it's like we've been gone a lifetime. So she's bounding in, jumping up, lick, 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 bite, 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 play, play, play. She's so gorgeous.
Buzz is a bit like that. Buzz is a bit like that. Riley still not so much.
Yeah,
Riley's
I think,
just...
yeah, especially, well, your cats are older as well. I mean, that's kind of, to still get that from them. I would imagine they're a bit more sleepy and a bit more chilled and a bit more kind of, you know.
It's only when I started working from home a lot more, like 100% of the time, I'm like, you guys do nothing during the day. You sleep all day.
And then at night, that's when they want their cuddles. Maybe they know that you've got to work, so they're leaving you to it.
Well, they're being respectful of my work practice because I have to keep the Buzz and Riley towers going, basically.
Absolutely, they know it. They know what's good for them.
And then how do you go about naming pets, Jude?
Naming?
Yes.
Well, so the other dog I haven't told you about is Bam. So what's the one common denominator between Brixton, Bam, and Bay?
I'm going to say the letter B.
I would say you're absolutely right.
Oh, well done, Dave. Well done, Dave. Yeah.
Not quite sure how it happened, but I think I was trying to be cheap. When I had the stockings up at Christmas time, I just didn't want to have to go back to Target and get any new ones.
So hang on, so let's just play that back. So the reason all your animals are going to think because you had a Christmas stocking which had the letter B on.
Yeah.
And to save you going have to go and buy another one. All animals would be known by B.
Absolutely. She's so cheap, this one.
Because when I got my cats, it was very much with a flatmate at the time, and we both took a name. One was Buzz Lightyear, and the other one is Life of Riley. So they're more extended.
Oh, that was how I've always wondered that.
Mm. And then if I got a dog, I like Thor because it's very Marvel and very strong.
Is it F-O-R-E?
Thor.
Oh, Thor. I thought you said four. Sorry.
Yeah, something strong. I've got friends who named their pets like Kevin or Dave or Brian.
Well, it would make for fun. We've come up with some rude versions of that too, but when you're sort of yelling at them to come back to you and you're like
shouting across the park, Kevin, will you get back here right there?
Right? Chardonnay, I told you not to go off with that stick.
You do sometimes think, oh, that's an odd name, but look, every animal, as long as it's loved, that's the main thing.
I think that's a great engagement opportunity for our listeners and our viewers. If anybody's got any cool, funny names that they've ever named a pet.
Yeah, what's your pet called? What's your pet's called? Tell us.
Oh yeah, absolutely, exactly. Yeah, we want to know.
And what do you feel about when you get pets, adoption or buying?
Oh, this is a contentious subject, and I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers here. But when we first got Brixton, we'd never been dog owners. So we did actually want to get him as a puppy because we wanted to understand the world of dogs and what it takes to look after a dog and how much is required, the investment, as well as all of the love and the time when you do have this really small creature. So we actually did do Brixton from scratch so that we could then have that experience under our belt, so to speak. But then the amount of love that the dog got and the amount of love that we got back from it, we have kind of tended to get them from breeders. So Bay and Bam are all...
there's no judgment here. It's just a question. I know some people...
No, I know, but I know over here it's quite a big conversation point because I know that some people do think that there's lots of rescue animals out there that are just as loving and that are just as giving. It was just a personal preference, but the more experienced I've become now with looking after dogs from puppies upwards, I would be way more confident now to take in a dog and know how to look after it and give it the best life that it had left, especially if it had come from an abusive situation. That kind of breaks my heart. It does. We've got enough experience now to do that.
My boys I rescued after they got abandoned twice before, which I'm like, they were kittens at 6 months old and they'd been abandoned in a black bin bag by a river somewhere.
How were they found?
I can't remember those details.
Oh, okay.
But they came from actually Queensland. So I lived in Sydney, and they actually were from Queensland because they had tattoos in their ear, and that was a sign when you got them neutered. They had to have a tattoo in their ear to prove it.
So they did almost start off their life with some level of love and care then, for them to be neutered and for that to happen.
But that could have been done at a vet's.
Oh,
Yeah, if you just get them, most people would do that anyway. So
yeah.
yeah,
No, I know it's hard, isn't it? Because I know lots of friends that have actually adopted, and some have had really successful stories, and some have had really bad stories
yeah.
where actually the behavioural issues in some of these dogs that have been abused or come from, you know, families that just shouldn't have ever had dogs in the first place. It's a lot of investment and time, especially around little children. You know, you have to be very aware of what your environment, your home environment is before you go and embark upon that particular route. So I think so much of it just depends on your situation and where you
100%,
are
100%.
and your lifestyle and stuff. But I definitely think I'll always be a dog person now. And I definitely think that as I get older, I won't want the puppy phase as much because it's very, very time consuming. And when you've got a busy schedule anyway, it's quite a lot to take on. So I think the idea of having an older potty trained, well, like, you know, looked after dog that just needs a new home. I see that all the time, you know, people moving away. Would you be interested in taking a dog? I think those kind of situations I would definitely be open to, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's why I know when once my boys are maybe not with us anymore, and that's when I can get my dog. I mostly will still get the puppy because I want the dog to be with me for like the next 15 years or so.
I know, well, that's the hope, isn't it? I mean, we just had some bad news when we got back from our recent trip about our Bam, who's only 6, and he's a full King Charles Cav. And he has this, they're called snapping flies or biting flies that aren't there. So anyway, long story short, we weren't sure if it was going to be something very sinister where he may actually have to be put down, or whether it was something that he could take some medication for to help him. So we had all of our fingers and toes crossed, and he's been on this new medication for 2 weeks, and the seizures, which is what they're called, they've stopped happening.
Oh, good.
So we're so blessed and grateful because I was like, we've just lost Brixton like what, 19 months ago, and Bam is only 6. So you do have this hope that they'll stay with you for
Yeah, you do.
years.
You do.
You know, sometimes things don't happen that way.
But then let's talk about vet bills.
Oh my God, you've got to get pet insurance.
I have pet insurance. Like Buzz has an existing condition which isn't covered, so that's an expensive time every time. But otherwise, if I wouldn't be able to. Thankfully, I can get it through work, right? And like it's subsidized and things like that. But the cost of shit here, sorry.
Oh my God. Oh, tell me about it.
Well, actually, any vet, like even like when Australia, still expensive. It's like, oh, right, he's got to have his teeth done. That's going to be like $1,000. I'm like,
right?
How? Like,
I mean, we actually brush our dog's teeth because to get them done, like, you know, is anything. Yeah. So we just, you know, the things that I never believed I would do, like we make our own dog food now because of the sensitivity issues in so much of the food that's out there. So we actually did a lot of research on it, and now I get my slow cooker and I make my pots of homemade food, which is just human food, but just, you know, all the right things for the dog. And then we give them like a little supplement of magnesium and calcium, the things that you may not get from the food. They're so much healthier for it. Their coats are really good. They've got so much more energy.
The boys used to be on a raw meat diet in Australia, which was great because once again, skin was, hair was like lovely and soft, vibrant. But when I moved over to America and they had the raw meat here, they just were like, no, don't like that. So it took me some time to, like, cats are really fussy with their food. Like they really take time to be able to swap over. So that took some time. But I've got them on a stable routine now. They did go on, one of them go on a different medication, which didn't agree with them. Another medical condition. And that's the thing. They can be so sensitive to it.
Absolutely.
And the only way you find out is when it comes out either end, shall we say.
Yep.
Now, they either vomit it up or they comes out the other end. So cheers for that.
And that is the worst. And on that note, I've got a really gross story that I have to share. You know, we've talked in one of our podcasts about our robo hoovers that we own.
Oh, yes.
So when Bay was younger and she's still potty training, you can put 2 and 2 together. There was an accident in the house. Frankie, our robo hoover, was on, and Frankie decided to meet Bay's present, and I'm not in the house, and it's gone all over my floors and my rug, and I'm literally like, I died, Dade. I died. But this didn't happen to me just once. This has happened to me 3 times.
Oh my God.
So now I cannot, when she was younger, now we're fine, but still, I will not put that hoover on unless I buy it or the dogs are in the garden or something.
Like when you walked into that house the first time, you must have been.
I absolutely died. I could, the smell was just, and I was literally like, shopping bags, what is that? And I went in and it was like Armageddon.
Yeah.
And it's Muggins here cleaning it all
At
up.
least you would have known the robot vacuum cleaner was doing it all over the shop.
Oh God, honestly, thank God it was just localized in one area as well. But man,
Yeah.
never again.
No.
So if anyone's listening out there
Yeah.
with young puppies or young animals, don't make my mistake.
What pet would you love to have, but you mostly won't be able to have?
Great question. Great question. God, I don't actually know.
Yeah, I think. Well, because I
It's a
obviously
hard one.
I'd like an exotic animal, like a little lion or
Well, I was
something.
about to say, but that's obviously not a thing, is it? That's
No,
not
when I was younger, my mum took me and my sister to play with baby tigers, and this is what this represents, that the tiger's all growing up. I'm pointing on, if you're listening to the podcast, to my tiger tattoo on my arm. So something like that. Like, obviously, when we were younger, we used to watch like monkeys on TV, so having a little pet monkey be cute.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, monkeys are definitely, chimpanzees especially, aren't they? They're the kind of like, because they're so relatable, and I would just be staring at it the whole time, just looking at its hands and feet and nails and all the features, you know.
My friend has a snake, and one of my other friends has a lizard. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely no way in God's earth. Nope, nope.
What
nope,
happens
nope.
if one of your boys went, I want a tarantula at home, Ma?
Not happening. Absolutely not. When you get your own house, you do your own thing. In this house, no. Maximum of 4 legs. That's it.
Spiders have 4 legs sometimes.
No, I don't. I literally cannot cope at all with anything like that.
Like, I've got friends who have horses as pets. They're quite expensive pets. They're quite
Very
expensive
pets. And also, I rode on a horse once called Tarzan, and I ended up getting ejected out of the seat, somersaulting in the air and landing in the squat position with my feet on the ground, which, by the way, was epic.
I was going to say, that's very Tarzan-esque, to be honest.
It was I was so Jane in that moment. I really felt myself. But I do love horses, but I think if I was to get on one now, I think I actually might be slightly frightened because they're quite big and they go quite fast.
Yeah. Like, when I look at horses, I'm like, yeah, I think that my time on horses is over.
Yeah, I'm totally happy to go and watch them race though, but I'm not so sure I'd like to ride one.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, look, I think this has been a fun chat on pets. Our lovable furry friends, well, doesn't need to be furry. We will say that. We'd love to hear what pets you have and why you love them and why you have them, and especially the names of them.
Yes, so make sure you send us an email or drop us a text, or not text. What am I saying? That's just me chatting to you.
Just look at the link on the screen right now and follow us on one of our social medias. Leave a comment on the YouTube and subscribe to our channel. This has been another random chat with Dade and Jude. I am Dade.
And I'm Jude.
And we will speak to you soon. Take care now.
Bye.